Viewer discretion is advised. The following content is rated mature and big brain and includes vulgar language, smartass, bad manners, and stuttering idiot. In a galaxy far, 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 far. Okay, we get it. It's far away. Jeez. Just get this intro over with already, will ya? Fine. On a desert. Oh, you fucked up my flow. Okay. On a deserted planet by the name Tatooine. What the fuck is that name? It sounds like when a tattoo artist is about to ask you about your tattoo and what you want, and then he stumbles his toe on a chair. Like, so what? Tatooine. God damn, motherfucking chair got in my way. Anyway, what you want? Anyway, are we going to talk about... Jesus Christ, you're fucking up my brain today. Sorry, dude. I just can't think about these fucked up funny names. Go on. Come on. Alright. Anyway, we are going to talk about Jawas today. What now? It's just that totally sounds like you when you're stretching out and yawning at the morning, like... Why do I have to deal with this? Anyway, my name is Bloodwolf, and my name is Bloodwolf, and today I'm gonna be talking about Jawas, and we're here on Tatooine itself. Whee! It's fucking hot out here, especially because there's two suns, and let me just pop my fellas up right here. Here we have them, good looking. So today, it's gonna be an interesting video. So I'm basically gonna go over for you a little so-called rework of these guys, and I had a little bit of free time, so I made this whole thing in Photoshop for you. So we got the Utility Brothers right here. Because the reason why I began doing this, like, from out of nowhere, was because I'm playing this little game called Swigo, or Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and it's pretty fucking snoring right now. Like, we have nothing to do. At least we got a few things coming up in the future that might bring some light to the game, but it's pretty boring. So I thought, you know what? Let's just fuck the meta. I'm gonna go and do a team that I honestly find to be really funny, which was the Jawas in this case. So those are real pictures of my Java collection. I actually do have them all in Relics 4, and even right now I have gotten Chief Nebit up to Relic 6 because just fuck it. I'm usually a free-to-play gamer, and this is one of those cases where I'm free to play and I don't give a shit for the GLs or Galactic Heroes right now. Like, honestly, rock, paper, scissors? Really? That's what you came up with? After making us wait for that long? On top of that, an even borier topic is this isolation we are in currently, which is just really complicating things, especially because I'm a student. So just bear with it, alright? I got a lot of issues right now, mentally. Anyway, so that's basically the reason. I'm bored, I wanted something fun to do, and these guys brighten my mood, alright? So let's talk a little about the current state first. They are really not that great in the game, to be honest. Yes, they have some milestones that they can claim. They can take down a Grievous team if you are really, really lucky. And you can also take down Geonosians if you got your boys tanky enough. And that's really the only thing that is making the Bible. Their tankiness and Scavenger's unique, which is called Line in the Sand. So yeah, that's really all they got going for them. Otherwise, they are pretty much just a D team. Like, not really that great, honestly. But they do some surprising things here and there, but that's only because of Scavenger's Line in the Sand unique ability. Anyway, let's go into the galaxy. And we are gonna whip up some stuff. So first, I'm just gonna pop this man on top here, Chief Nebit. And before I go into this, I'm just gonna explain the color codes down in the bottom left corner. Basically, I have a little character description. You can't see it quite yet because I've not made it visible. We got the blue, which is highlighted as being just nothing happened. It stayed how it is. It's good, right? You can already see some of the text that stayed. Then we got the green, which we are gonna come at in a little moment, and that's basically explaining what I have changed, and hopefully to the better, and also new stuff, which is exciting. Then we got the red, which you can already see right now, which is where I have either changed or completely removed it. And in most of the cases, it's just changed, alright? Then I also was thinking of if I should highlight what the Omega and the Zeta should be. And I thought it's probably good information that you know what my thoughts behind what I think the Omega on the ability or attack is, or unique or leader or whatever, and what I personally think is the Zeta part of those things. So let's kick it off by let me go in, tap here, and bada bam, we got a description for Chief Nebit. So basically, you can go to cwgoh.something and you can find all these characters, and you can basically look up all their current abilities, their stats, what they gain from gearing them up, like specifically, and basically the descriptions are terrible. So I made some new ones that are based on my changes. So I'm gonna go over each of these 5 characters. I'm gonna start off reading their descriptions, then I'm gonna go over each and every single ability they have, and I'm gonna go in depth with what my thoughts behind their current state are compared to the changes I've done, and hopefully you're gonna like the changes. And I hope that they might become at least a B team, alright? Maybe even an A team in some circumstances, but that is very minor. Anyway, Chief Nebit is a healthy tank who is a great negotiator. But what they do not know is that he is really just distracting them so Nebit's fellow raiders can set up an ambush. When the party starts, Nebit will be the sheltering wall standing in the way so his raiders will not get hurt. When the raid is a success, they collect all the credits and trophies and goes home to plan the next encounter. There's gonna be a few slips up. I'm not gonna cut it out because I'm just gonna be me. I don't even have a script for this, so I'm just going down the road. Anyway, let's first of all just look at Chief Nebit's current state. We got the Sheltering Shot. Final text states that it's an Omega. Alright, it's a basic. It deals physical damage to the target enemy with a 70% chance to grant protection up equal to 20% of Nebit's max health for 2 turns to a random ally who is not stealthed. And you can already see we got some red letters up here, and as I said, we're gonna come to that in a little bit time. This ability really, like, the basic really ain't that bad, honestly. It deals damage, that's a half of the job done, and then it grants protection to an ally. Of course, with only a chance of granting stealth, and they have to not be stealth, so we got some minor circumstances there that's not that great. Anyway, moving on to the extracting negotiations. Final text, Omega, it's his special, his first special. Nebit taunts for 2 turns and Gale heal over time for 3 turns. Nice. Reduce the cooldown of all Java and Droid allies by 1, and it has a cooldown of 3. That's what I was going to say. Honestly, I didn't really need to change anything here. It's all great. He taunts, he gets a little bit of survivability while he does it, and he makes it so that all Java and Droid allies cooldowns go down by 1. Like, there's not many characters out there that does that, and it's just great. Though I have added to it and changed a little bit here and there, so you're gonna see that. Anyway, Desert Ambush, final text. Omega with red? What's that gonna mean? It's his second special. It deals physical damage to target enemy and call a random ally to assist, dealing only 20% less damage. That's not too bad. If the target or if the assisting ally is a Java or Droid, call another random ally to assist. Nice, but way too specific, and that's why it's marked with red. All Java call to assist gain stealth for 3 turns. That's a nice benefit right there. That's really nice, but it could be better, honestly, a lot better. Last one, raiding parties, final text. Level 7. It's not even an Omega in the game. It's not even an Omega, which is insulting, honestly. It's his leader, and it's honestly not that great. Java and Droid allies gain 30% critical chance. That's basically what you get out of it, because the inflicting critical chance down in 3 turns on a critical hit, by the way, is not really that great. I'll rather have something like critical immunity, honestly, but that's what we have. Anyway, let's go over them again. So, Chief Nebit is currently a decent tank, actually, but the only thing that is actually good about him is him being this wall that keeps his allies, like, behind the scenes in stealth while he takes the hit. That's the only thing he got going for him. Other than that, just don't even bother with him. So, let's start with Sheltering Shot as our first little change here. So what have I changed? First of all, it's still an Omega, right? Though I changed the attack to be a special damage instead of physical, because I feel like that this gun in particular doesn't really, it doesn't shoot bullets. It shoots an electrical plasma at you, and it's just I don't see that as being something physically. I see it as being a special kind of equipment that deals special damage. It's not a regular shot or a slice with a lightsaber, which in these cases are physical in these games. So I changed it to that. Then I made his granting protection up a guaranteed thing, which I also think should be. By the way, this is not reflecting the leveling up of the ability, so you eventually get 100% chance to get protection up on an ally. That is not. Doesn't matter if it's stealth or not, alright? Doesn't matter if it's stealth or not, they can get the protection. Also, the target with the lowest, or the ally with the lowest protection is who is granted this protection. Which I feel like is what it's supposed to, right? You have to make it specifically, that's what it does. That's what it did. And then we got the Omega here, which makes it so that it also removes every single debuff from the ally getting granted the protection, but also Chief Nebit himself. We really need that in this team. We need a dispel of debuffs and buffs on the enemy team. Like, none of this is in the basic kit, and we really need it because these are the only 5 in this faction, so they better have everything. Otherwise, they are not really that viable. Anyway, Nebit also gains bonus protection equal to 20% of his max health. So, on top of giving an ally a little boost, he also gives himself a little boost, which is instead of this health up thing. No, that's not instead of the health up. I'm looking ahead. Sorry. So yeah, that makes the basic not too bad. Like it's pretty good now. It's doing its job, which is sheltering the allies. That's the whole point of this ability. Like patching up the team. Really good. Let's move on to distracting negotiation. And this thing has some bigger changes to it because I made some whole new buffs. Or I don't know what you're gonna call it, blue buffs? I don't know. Anyway, still an Omega. He taunts for 2 turns, he gains the heal over time, but he also gains a protection over time, which I feel like is more valuable than the heal over time, because he wants to be as healthy as possible, and having the protection over time, and by the way, still for 3 turns, and it's only 1 of each, so it's not that beneficial, but it's still helping him taking less health damage. Then he still reduces all Java and Droid allies cooldowns by 1, which is very important because that's the whole thing. But now the new thing is every single time he does this special, he also gains a credit. Now hear me out. I've described it down here, and I've placed a nice 7 right here as my own made emblem right here, or logo for it, or whatever you would call it, symbol. So each credit stack that Nebit has on him gives him a total of 12, or gives him plus 12 counter chains and 2% max health per stack. And the stack is maxed out at 5. But wait, there's more. When Chief Nebit does his distracting negotiation with 5 stacks of credits on him, it gets converted into a trophy, which really stands out because Chief Nebit and the Jawas, they are droid raiders. They literally go hunting for these money bags and they get trophies for them, right? So I thought it would be a cool idea to mix some scoundrel into this. Not make them scoundrel, but giving them some characteristics because they are outcasts. That's the whole point of that game. Anyway, Trophy converts all the crit stacks into a trophy buff that on top stacks on the current 5 stacks of credit bonuses, gives an additional 40% counter chance, which basically makes him so he has a 100% counter chance, and then an additional 20% max health, which then gives him 30% max health on top of what he already has. So you can hear this healthy tank line is something I really mean up in the description. That's basically what I have to say about the distraction negotiation. Let's move on to his second special, which is Desert Ambush. And here we have a Seda. Now hold on. Jawas was fine to gear up right now because they did not have Sedas. But I was like, they can't go without Sedas if I actually have to make them at least a B team, right? Make them good. Make them basically just like the Geonosians, but not really like Geonosians, you know what I mean? Anyway, I made a simple here too, called Camouflage. So let's get into this. Final text, Seda. Not Omega, Seda. It deals physical damage to target enemy and call all allies to assist, now dealing 50% less damage. That's a little nerf there, but you have to remember there's 2 more allies attacking, so I had to lesser the damage. But the Java and Droid allies do not get this penalty. They attack with full power. Hooray! An assist that doesn't fucking deal less damage when you do it. Is it really that difficult? Is it unbalanced? No, it's not. It's helping them a lot. Anyway, all Java and Droid allies who was called to assist gain stealth for 3 turns. That is the normal thing. But here's where Camouflage comes in, and that's the Seda part. If any assisting Java or Droid ally already had stealth when they assist on this attack, they gain Camouflage as well. And now I'm like, what is Camouflage? Well, Camouflage, they still gain stealth, so yeah, but on top of that they gain Foresight. Awesome, they can dodge, or if at least they can dodge some characters. And it's really great to protect them from AoEs, because they are really bad at protecting from AoEs. They also have 25% more accuracy, which is nice. That fits in with the theme as being these kind of desert snipers. And well, actually the Tusken Raiders are more like desert snipers, but the Jawas can get some of that too, right? And their attacks, while they are camouflaged, are guaranteed to be critical hits. You heard me right, they are guaranteed to be critical hits. But hear me out. They have to be stealthed already to even get the buff. And then they have to take a turn to get the critical. So there are some necessities before they can actually, you know, get this. But it's not really that crazy, right? They gain foresight, so they dodge an attack. They get some more accuracy, that's nice, which means they are more likely to hit. And then they get the nice bonus of getting critical hit, guaranteed. And I'm pretty sure that the stealth only should last for, yeah, it should last for 3 turns. 3 turns. So 3 critical hits? I mean, the thing is, they are supposed to be stealthed a lot, because these are diabolic raiders of droids, right? Like they are supposed to be stealthy and catch you by surprise, and they also have to have some viability against other things. So giving them camouflage is not really that crazy. Critting is a very important thing, but it's not like godlike to make them guarantee crit. So that's basically my taste. And now we come to the part that just needed the most work, honestly. It needed the most work, and I'm truly not that satisfied with my changes to his leader ability. I did change it though. I did make it better, though I just don't like it was difficult to think of something that Chief Nebit would actually do and was in theme of this raiding parties title that it had. So I made it an Omega. Awesome. Only one Zeta. All droid and Java allies gain 20 speed. There's a reason why they only get 20 speed, but that's gonna take a little while. Then they still gain the 30% critical chance. Nice. So even if they are not stealth, they still have a bigger chance to get crits. Awesome. Javas already are not really that hard hitting of a faction, so getting crits is yet again very important for them. Then they gain 20% critical damage, and those bonuses are only for the Javan droids, though all other allies, just to make it friendly for other things, all other allies gain half of these bonuses, which means if you have this guy in, let's say, a rebel team, then they are gonna get 10 speed, 15 critical chance, and 10 critical damage. That's not that bad of a bonus either. Anyway, then just to wrap it up on Chief Nebit, let's just put some synergy on this camouflage ability, and this is only when he's the leader, by the way. Whenever a Java or droid attacks while buffed by camouflage, it has to be camouflage, not stealth, camouflage, they also deal 20% additional damage based on the target enemy max health, which is basically when they are under his lead, they get an kind of expose effect when they hit somebody. So it's kind of like these stealthy snipers sitting with the ghillie suits. Not really, but you know what I mean. But covered up in sand, just waiting, and then POW! It just really surprises you. So they really needed some damage boost. I gave it to them. This should be a very viable leader for anything else that's not against droids. But we're gonna go on to my boy Dathcha here, and you know, he's the other leader of the Java gang, and he has this really antagonist against droids, you know? Like, he's really the one that's pissed off at them. So let's read the description first. Not that long this time. Dathcha is a support that deals high critical damage. He is on a quest to decommission all droid enemies to sell them for credits and in the end earn a trophy that shows his veterancy. And you can already hear that we got this credit trophy thing going on again, and that's gonna be a thing for him too, but it's gonna be a little different. Anyway, let's go over his current kit first. Hit and Run, final text, is his basic. It deals physical damage to the target enemy with a 60% chance to gain stealth for 2 turns? 60%! It's basically just this coward move. Like, it's just go poke them with a stick and then run away. Like, it's really not that good. 60% chance? On someone who really relies on stealth and surprise? Fuck that. Anyway, Scout Instinct, Final Text, Omega, Special. First special, only special. Deals special damage to all enemies with 50% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn and a 50% chance to stun droids for 1 turn. Cooldown of 4. There's a lot of special and there's a lot of chance in this one, and I do not like it. And you can already see that these changes and droids have been changed. We'll come into that a little bit. Decommission, Final Text, Omega, Leader. It's still an Omega. So I wonder what's gonna be the Zeta, right? I gave all of them a Zeta. So yeah. Whenever an ally whenever an ally damages a droid, they have an 80% chance to inflict defense down for 3 turns and a 25% chance to remove 25% turn meter. That's a terrible leader. That's terrible. Defense down as the major thing? Like, it's nice, but it's just, no. Just no. No! No! And then only a 25% chance to remove turn meter? Like 25%, that's a good chunk. That's a really good chunk. But 25% chance to do it? And it's only on droids? Like, come on. Come on. Anyway, Droid Hunter, Final Text, level 7, yet again another ability they didn't finish. Unique. Dathcha gains 4.5% critical chance for each living Java ally. Notice that he's only friends of Javas. Fucking hate droids. In addition, he has plus 15% critical damage. That's really the only good thing about him, honestly, which is a little tad on top of what, you know, the normal metas do currently. Oh my god, GLs are fucking crazy. Anyway, let's go into this hit and collect. Or should I? Oh yeah, hit and run. Or should I say hit and collect? I changed the name. Ooh, interesting. Omega, before attacking. Is this new? Before attacking, Dathcha gains accuracy up and critical damage up for 2 turns. Before anything happens, like literally before he attacks with this basic, he gains 2 buffs. He makes sure that his hit matters and it hits the target as well as it really hits hard with this critical damage up. Then deals special damage, not physical, special damage to the target enemy and gain 1 credit stack and stealth for 2 turns. Yet again, this stealth thing is first gonna be guaranteed with the probably with the Omega. I've not highlighted it here, but probably with the Omega first. But that's not the important part here. The important thing is that he gains 1 credit stack. And I also just added a little note here just so you weren't being confused about wherever these description of what credit does for him. I just said that it's gonna be under Droid Hunter, like his unique. That's where you're gonna get that explained for him. You know, for the in-game sake, you know, I'm actually doing a legit rework that apparently CG couldn't figure out how to do. So I hope this make the Java fans happy. Anyway, Scout Instincts. Didn't change the name. Anyway, ensuring the trophy. Oh shit, did I say I didn't change the name? Well, I changed it! Ensuring the trophy, Final Text Omega. Scout Instinct didn't really fit. You know, he is the one out in the field really hunting, while Chief Nebit is the one back in camp just negotiating with the customers, right? And jacking their stuff when they are not looking. Anyway, Deal special damage to all enemies, inflict ability, block, stun, and buff immunity for 1 turn. Only 1, just because it's a lot of debuffs. And honestly, I really needed to keep the stun and the block ability on, but I made the stun generally, because I'm pretty sure if you get hit by something that fucking feels harder than a taser, you're gonna be stunned too, not just droids. Alright? And, well, basically, the buff immunity was just someone needed to get it, and he was the candidate for it. Then he dispels all buffs on all damaged enemies. It's still able to be resisted by tenacity check, and it's still able to be dodged by the dodge check. Alright? It's not that broken. You can still avoid it. Alright? Dathcha gain 1 credit stack for each damage that had a buff dispelled from them. So they have to have had a buff on them for him to get a credit. And it has to be dispelled. So that's 2 things for him to... before he even gains the buff or the credit. Yet again, further explanation under the Droid Hunter. But first, let's go to decommission. I forgot to mark Omega with red, but this is actually the Zeta. The leader is the Zeta this time. Which it better be, because I did a lot of fucking research on droids and what they are good at to make this guy finally the ultimate counter and the best leadership in the game against droids. So you can see there's a lot of text, there's a lot of green, there's a lot of purple, so let's get into this. Whenever a Java damage a droid, not an ally, a Java, just to know that he should be together with his Utini brothers, right? Utini! Anyway, whenever a Java damages a droid, they may lose 5% turn meter. Only 5, not 25, only 5. Because 25, that's a lot. But at least these 5% turn meter, that's you know, that's something, and then it's guaranteed if it gets through the tenacity check, of course, and dodge check, but you know what I mean. And it's basically to counter B2's 5% turn meter gain thing. So yeah, I did a deep thinker on this one. Then, if all allies are Javas, yet again another incentive to have a full Java team. All Java allies gain 20% critical damage, just all the time. Nice bonus there, a little bit more damage, which they do need. Just a little bit, you know, just a tad. I didn't want to boost them up too much because there's gonna be some things later on that's gonna be a little bit more crazy. Like, Javas under Dathcha's leadership are immune to target lock and the Zeta part confuse. You might ask. Target lock? Yeah, that's the obvious one. Every single fucking droid tries to have some synergy with target lock. You know, it's basically in all the new droids kits, and just being immune to the target lock, that takes out of a lot of the advantage. So Jawas cannot be hit with the target lock. They are too sneaky, too quick, too sneaky to be hit by this. And you have to remember that it's against droids, right? And then confuse. Why confuse? Yeah, because confuse is a very powerful debuff that C-3PO has, and I don't really feel like the Javas are that dumb to be confused about something they literally have a master profession in. Like, they deal with droids every single day. Like, they are some really smart geeks that are out in the field just making their life depends on this job. So they know about droids. They know about this shit. They should not be confused about a droid just having his hand in the air trying to look like a dumb chicken. Anyway, all allies are able to ignore droids, specifically droids, that are taunting or is marked. Yet again, marked is the Zeta part because I want you to invest to get these goodies, I want you to invest. And marked is one of those things that Grievous especially just love to throw around. It's actually specifically Grievous I targeted with this. And this makes it so that you ignore Magna Guard because you don't care about the goddamn taunt. And you also ignore marked, so when Grievous get under that 100% health, you don't care about him saying, hit this droid over here, don't me, do not hit me, no. No, you don't care, you can still hit Grievous. You don't fucking care. Anyway, droids are unable to evade attacks from Jawa allies, even if they have foresight. So this makes it so that Jawa attacks goes through foresight, which is the only faction with this specific leadership that they can do that with. Alright? It's not overpowered, it's just to make them stand down on what they truly are, which is droid counter. Anyway, Jawa allies are able to attack stealthed droids. Bam! Magna, go home. You're out of here. You are out. Also, just to put a little bit pepper and spicing up the salt, Jawa ally, or if a Jawa ally attacks a droid with damage immunity, not the locked immunity, just the regular one that is able to be dispelled, right? I'm looking at you, Droidica, or Droidica, or however you want to pronounce it. They dispel the damage immunity. They don't deal damage to them with that attack, but they at least dispel it. And that's a very big thing, because Droidica likes to stagger his power up behind the shield and being this powerhouse that nobody can stop, right? This basically makes it so that you can just make him vulnerable immediately and just go ham on him. So basically, this whole kit has been tailored to be specifically against droids. And you're gonna be looking a lot on details, and a lot of that is targeting Grievous team, yes, but the foresight thing, the confused thing, and hitting droid stealth, that can also be R2-D2's allies. Like, it can be BB-8 being under foresight, or it can be, C-3PO with his stupid chicken dance. Don't really know what that's about. But anyway, that's a very, very good leadership. But Chief Nebit is the go-to if you're not up against droids. Just, so they have two viable leaderships, right? Actual viable. And this is the part where I'm like, yes, this is here where they actually go beyond and can be an A-team, but only against droids, right? Only. Which means every other factions are gonna see them as a C or B team and kick their ass because they are not that good, they're not that good. Anyway, let's go to Droid Hunter, the final thing. And we also indeed again have the emblem for both the credit and the trophy blue buff. So it's an Omega. Really nice. We actually got that, like, I knew what this unique was going to be because I wanted Dathcha to be a high critical damage hitting machine. He's a support, yes, but that doesn't mean he can't hit hard, alright? His kit already in the game was going for a critical chance, critical damage build, so I just enhanced it, alright? Anyway, Dathcha gains 5% critical chance for each Java ally. Half percentage more, little buff, not that big, but you know, it can make some difference. Dathcha gains defense penetration before he attacks an enemy. Just out of nowhere, he doesn't care about your armor, he's gonna shred through it. So he gets defense penetration buff. The buff, it can be dispelled, alright? And though the thing is, he only gets defense penetration if the enemy is suffering from a stun, paralysis, or a short circuit. And then he gains the buff for 2 turns if he does hit an enemy with that, right? So, really great there. We're gonna go a little bit more into depth to paralysis and short circuit in the next character actually, because Dathcha doesn't really have any, you know, things to do with those 2 new things. But he does get a little synergy with it, you know? A little synergy. Anyway, the credit gains him plus 4 critical damage per stack, stacking up to a whopping 12. So that's gonna go a little bit of a while before you get it. But the ensuring trophy or previous scout instinct should make that process a little quicker, you know, because he can gain credits 2 ways. Chief Nebit could only get it 1 way. So who's really going to get his trophy first, huh? I actually think it's Dathcha. Anyway, when he has those 12 stacks, that's a lot of critical damage, by the way. He gains the trophy on top of it, which stacks the bonus on top of what he already had for critical damage from the credits. And he then gains an additional 40% critical damage. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. And if I'm not wrong, then this should be... That's a very high number actually. I can't quite remember the number, but you can do the math yourself. I'm a little too tired right now. But it's basically 4 times 12 plus 40. Oh wait, 88%. There we go. Just popped into my mind there. 88% critical damage. Did I mention he gets critical damage with his leadership? Did I mention that he gains critical damage up if he attacks with his Spatic? Yeah, this boy is gonna hit hard when he crits. That's his intention. He's gonna make a statement. He's gonna surprise you. And yeah, maybe the damage of hit and collect and ensuring the trophy have to be tweaked a little bit to make it not, you know, that great. But you know, I was like, he earned the trophy, he can get a great bonus, right? Because it's not a thing he just gets. It's something he has to boost in battle. So that's an acquirement that makes it a little bit more, you know, I can be a little bit more free with it, you know. Anyway, that's all for Dathcha. Let's continue on to where the short circuit and paralysis is gonna make sense, which is with the Java, the generic Java himself. And yeah, I actually looked all of these guys up. They are all he's. I didn't find a single woman, which is weird. Anyway, we have the description over here for Java, which is Java is an evasive and high damage attacker that surprises his enemies with his ambush tactics together with his Houdini brothers. Java paralyzes the enemies and completely shuts down droids by making them short circuit. So let's get into this. We got exploit weakness. Final text Omega, his basic, deals physical damage to target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict speed down for 2 turns. This attack deals 35% more damage to enemies suffering from negative status effects. I mean, alright, like a speed down is not that bad, and a boost to the damage for them having a negative status effect, that's pretty good too. It's not really anything like crazy, you know, so it can be improved. It can definitely be improved, you know. That 50% looks mighty wrong to me, but you can also see that I probably have removed the speed down. Anyway, stun surprise, final text. Red Omega deals special damage to all enemies with 75% chance to stun droids for 1 turn and a 25% chance to stun other enemies for 1 turn. 3 turn cooldown with red. Now hold on. Changing a cooldown now? Changing a cooldown. Well, we're gonna look at that. Ambush tactics. Final text Omega. You can see it really didn't change that much here. Java gains 6% evasion for each living Java ally, and he gains 30% turn meter whenever he evades an attack. That's, by the way, the better unique for these. Like, the generic Java is better than the 2 leaders. Like, huh? Anyway, he only have 3 things. Let's get into it. So, exploit weakness. I kept it on Omega, though I yet again changed it to special damage because it's yet again electrical plasma he shoots out, which I find not to be a bullet or a plasma bolt. You know? It's not acting like normal things in the universe. Then it removes 10% turn meter, doubled if the target is a droid. You have to remember that synergizes with Dathcha's thing that makes droids lose 5% turn meter. So that's actually 25% turn meter right there. That is removed. Though it's a basic, so it's only 1 enemy that loses that much turn meter, so it's not that crazy. This attack also deals 20% more damage if the target is debuffed. I changed the 35 to a 20% just to make him not that crazy, because you have to tone them down a little bit to add things other places, you know? Like, I don't want to overpower them, but I do want them to be good, you know? I hope you're listening, CG, because this is a legitimate suggestion to you for you to get on and do. So Hope you take notes for what we fans want, right? And I hope everybody is gonna write suggestions in the description for what they feel is awesome, what they feel is too weak, or what they feel is maybe a little bit too good. I'm not gonna redo the video, but I would like to hear your suggestions. Anyway, let's continue. Stun Surprise, marked with red as I said, it still deals special damage to all enemies with a 75% chance to stun droids. Should we do something about that? Indeed we should. We got 2 new debuffs in the house. Let's go. Stun Surprise final text, now a Zeta. Still deals special damage to all enemies and inflict paralysis for 1 turn if the target was not a droid. Not a droid, because doesn't really matter who you are, if you get shot with an electrical prod of some kind, you're not gonna feel well. And paralysis might be a little bit too drastic, but that's the best name I could come up for it, so there we go. Only 1 turn though, remember that. Then, if the target was a droid, we inflict short circuit instead for 1 turn. So basically, it's the same text, but we got some new things here. Also, the cooldown is now 5, and there's a good reason for that. Originally, I wanted to just give it an additional cooldown, 4 turns, but then I remembered Chief Nebit's taunt has a free cooldown and he reduces cooldowns, so he's basically still has a free cooldown, a 4 cooldown for this ability. If he of course uses it before that Chief Nebit does his taunt, right? That's a little bit more on the technical, but that's all the professionals out there. They're gonna really look into this kit and be, we have to do this specific turn or to really get the juice out of it, Anyway, so I made it 5 because of Chief Nebit's cooldown reduction, and I figured that I wouldn't make it a 6 because 5 actually gives it a potential for Nebit to maybe, just maybe, get 2 of his taunts or use his special twice in between, so actually make it a 3 turn cooldown before Java takes his turn. So odd number, but it works. Anyway, what is paralysis? Well, it stuns the target, not droids though, this is only for other things, not droids. It stuns the target, it resets that turn meter, which is basically it hits them as it was a stagger immediately. Then it decreases their speed by 25% for a certain amount of turns, which is 1 turn in this case because that's the duration of the debuff. But who knows, maybe paralysis is gonna be used in the future. Also, I made these myself. I'm pretty proud of it. Not too fancy, but it took some time. Then, well, just to throw it in there, stun and paralysis cannot stack. They cannot stack. If they have a stun, you can inflict the paralysis, but if they have a paralysis, you cannot inflict the stun. Alright? Just put it out there. Paralysis can go on top of the stun, but the stun cannot go on top of the paralysis. It doesn't stand there in the text, but that's the intended way of this cannot stack. Anyway, let's move on to short circuit. Have you ever had your machine have a short circuit? Well, I have, and it really sucks. So, this is what I thought was gonna be the perfect thing, because we humans, we spasm. when we get shocked. What does droid do? They have a short circuit. They literally burn their cords when they get electrocuted. So, short circuit. It is symbolized by this luck. It should have been over here, but details, you know. It is an undispellable debuff. Let's say that again. It's an undispellable debuff. When it first lands on a droid, it's there for the duration. Alright? It stuns the target, as it should. It resets the turn meter, the stagger thing again. Then I did a little bit of magic and worked the shock buff in here and made it so they cannot heal, they cannot gain buffs, and they cannot gain bonus turn meter for the duration of the debuff. Completely shuts down Droid's team right there. It is a 5 cooldown, so it takes a while before it gets it back, but with the help of Nebit he can get it back quickly again. But you know, I'm here trying to make them actually disgusting against droids, but other factions they are not gonna be that great for. It's especially for you guys out there doing your grand arenas that don't want to waste very good teams on a Grievous team. This is gonna be your thing. It's great. It's currently in the game, it kind of works, though it's very difficult to you know, kill Grievous in the end. So yeah, this should make it clear statement that these droids are out for scrap parts and cord wires. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to ambush tactics. Omega, Java gains still the 6% evasion for each living ally, or Java ally, and gains 30% turn meter whenever he evades an attack. No, kept it because it's good. On top of it, if any enemies has any debuffs, Java inflicts evasion down on them, guaranteed for 1 turn on the start of his turn. And this evasion down is important. If all enemies has evasion down at the end of Java's turn, you know, he comes in, he spots them all, they are very easy to hit for them. Then when he dips out, he gains stealth. What? What? Java can gain stealth himself now? Yeah. Yeah. He's not reliant on Chief Nebit to use his desert ambush anymore. He can gain stealth himself. Because he really needs that. But you know, he gains stealth for 2 turns if all enemies has evasion down. Though with this team, there's gonna be a very big chance that there is a debuff on all enemies. Except if it's like a Geonosian team that has 2 cleansers, or a Jedi team that's just or a Traya team. You know, a lot of cleansers there as well. So, but if all enemies has evasion down, which is a great thing because it just makes them easier to hit, you know, and gain stealth for 2 turns. He doesn't get the stealth for free, but he gets it somehow. And then we're not quite done. We're not quite done. Because I thought it was a little, you know, Java missed out on a 4th ability, you know. He kind of missed out on a 4th ability. We got the camouflage right there. And then we have this thing. Hmm? Hmm? A new, completely completely new unique ability called Itini Brothers. Java himself, not other Javas, himself, gains plus 3% offense and 2% critical chance for each Java ally or droid enemy. And droid enemy. So that's pretty good, right? If he's up against normal teams, then he's gonna get a decent bonus. If he's up against droids, he's gonna be going off a little bit more. He's pumped and he wants to show off, right? So he's gonna go and get the job done. All Java allies gain half of these bonuses, which yet again really emphasizes that you want a full Java team. If you want to mix max together with droids, you can do that because both Chief Nebit and Engineer has some great synergies with them. Also, they still have those synergies after my changes, so they should still be viable there. But Java, Dathcha, and Jawa Scavenger, excuse me, are all, you know, they want to be together with their brothers, their homies, you know. So he's gonna give these bonuses out just to, you know, not have it in a leadership, but has it as a unique coming from one of them. That's going to last throughout the battle still. It's still going to last throughout the battle. This is not a unique that stops just because Java is defeated, alright? Because it's not written in the goddamn unique, it stays. Anyway, when a Java attacks an enemy with evasion down, more evasion down synergy, they have a 20% more potency against them, which makes them better able to, you know, inflict debuffs, so they can keep doing the cycle of Java like the Javas doing debuffs and Java gaining stealth, you know? That's the point. Whenever Java ally gains stealth or camouflage, they heal 5% of the max health. Just a little nice sustain right there, you know? Just, you know, having other than the healer do a little bit of help of the team, right? Now with the new things out of the way, let's go to Engineer. This is a very long video, I know, but there's a lot of details to go over and I have a lot of thoughts in my head that I have to cover. So, Jawa Engineer was this maniac of a speed devil who was basically a passive. Like, he doesn't have an attack, at least directly. He has the miniaturized detonator, which applies a detonator to the target, and then it detonates after a turn and deals damage, right? But he doesn't have an actual attack. So he's a passive character in a way. Yeah, but that's basically his basic. Basically his basic. Wow. Original, huh? Original. As I said, no script. Patch up! Final text, Omega. Alright. Jawa Engineer revives a random droid ally at 1% health, and then all allies, doesn't matter if the droid or Java or whatever, they heal 30% of their max health. And the cooldown is 4. That's nice. But 30%? It's really not sustainable, you know? It's not really that sustainable. We have a bunch of good healers out there that does a lot more healing than this. So I threw something in there a little better. And trust me, this guy is gonna be annoying. This is the guy that you want to eliminate first on this team? You saw what Dathcha could do, you saw what Chief Nebit could do, you saw what Dathcha can do. This guy! Yeah, this guy! He's gonna be the one you want to eliminate first. Otherwise, he's gonna be a pain in the ass, just making it more annoying. Not that much pain in the ass, but pain in the ass. Anyway, back to the topic. Recalibrate. Final text to make a special. Second special, by the way. All allies gain critical chance up for 2 turns. Nice! Jawa and droid allies also gains 45% turn meter. Double nice! Like, that's probably the second best thing of all the Jawas. I'm still gonna say that the distracting negotiation from Chief Nebit is the best one, because, you know, that cooldown reduction is really great. And yeah, just overall, I was about to say the wrong character. Anyway, Engineer is really Engineer and Chief Nebit have really been the only 2 good ones. We've not talked about Scav yet, so I'm not gonna mention him yet. Anyway, crunch time! Final text, level 7. Wap, 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 level 7. Still not an Omega or Zeta yet. Anyway, unique. Jawa Engineer has plus 10 speed for each Jawa or droid ally. Now that is a big buff. Wow. This 10 speed for each Jawa or droid ally? That's 50, boy! That's 50 speed! And no, I'm not crazy when I say that I literally have relicked all my Jawas. Currently working on getting Chief Nebit to the crazy Relic 7. It's gonna take a little while because I have to farm up some, some gear. I actually have to farm gear to get him a level. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. Anyway, very nice bonus. And currently my Engineer is, with this bonus, laying at about a 350 speed actually. So he's pretty damn fast. And outruns almost anything. Fucking Galactic Legends, I'm talking about you. Also, BB-8 is a pain in the ass. Goddamn, droids are annoying for Jawas. Who could have guessed? We've got Rexy. I'm not gonna challenge the 501st. No. Fuck that. Anyway, let's look at the description, shall we? Jawa Engineer is a high-speed passive healer that can apply detonators to his enemies. Engineer has a big variety of healing and health benefits. Yeah, that's something you want, right? No tits here though. Benefits to help his allies. He is quick to help his fallen droids and are able to revive them. He also keeps his droid and Jawa allies up to speed, and when Jawa allies fall in battle, he recalibrates and readies them to retaliate. So, the retaliate thing is very important about him, but we're not gonna get into that quite yet. First, this miniaturized detonator. Really? Just applying a detonator, that's all it does? That's basically a basic that just deals damage. Kinda lame. Anyway, I made the detonators unable to be resisted. They can still be dodged, but at least if he goes through the dodge check, then he actually applies the detonator. It's only one detonator. It should be a thing that lands every fucking time and should not be resisted, because it's a physical thing that he plants on the person, or throws at them, which is the dodging part, you know? It's not gonna be resisted because they're just too bombed and tenacified. That's a word I just made up. Anyway, still does the dealing damage after a turn. Then, whenever a thermal detonator is applied, and it's not only Jawa Engineer that applies thermal detonators, a line in the sand, then Jawa Engineer gains 2% max health, and he also heals that 2% of his health. So basically, he's gonna have a bit of a Dathcha kind of thing, that he actually gets more max health the more detonators gets applied. And I can only imagine what this thing is gonna do as a passive thing under his basic against Geonosian team. I the other day played a little fight together with my guild in Territory War and went up against the Geonosian team. At least I think it's Territory War. Territory Battle, Territory War. Get them confused from time to time, don't you? Never mind. But basically, I was so happy and astounded that Scavenger was not the first target. He actually got to use his unique, and all the Geonosians stood there with plus 30 detonators on them, and it was Scavenger's turn to throw his grab bomb. And it says, BOOM! All of them died from full health and protection. I've literally done no damage to them, and they just was gone like dead. That was so satisfying. But you know, it all comes down to luck and them not targeting Scavenger. He didn't even have stealth, that's the crazy part. Anyway, he's probably gonna get a lot of health in that battle, but at that point it's gonna be over, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, patch up! Bam! Changes! Revives in... oh, blah! My tongue is just really good at twisting itself today. Jawa Engineer revives a chosen droid ally. Not a random, a chosen droid ally at 1% health. Then, all allies recover 30% of Jawa Engineer's current max health. Which means that 30%, it's gonna be better the longer the fights go on, because you remember that he has this 2% additional max health for each time a thermal detonator gets applied. Yeah, that means his patch up is gonna be better and better the longer fight to go. Another incentive for you to take this guy out, because he's just gonna keep his team healthy, boy. Then he dispels all debuffs on himself and all other allies. Doesn't matter if it's droids, doesn't matter if it's Jawas, all other allies and himself included. Fantastic, we really needed a debuff dispel on the team, and here we got it. And that's the Omega part, him dispelling the debuffs. Then we go into a little bit more of the juicy stuff, you know. Jawa and droid allies recover an additional 30% max health and gains protection up equal to 20% of Jawa Engineer's current max health. Now we are talking about a heal that wants something. This thing is gonna keep his allies very, very healthy and able to just keep going, you know? It's... mwah! Mwah! This guy is gonna be the thing that you want to take out as quickly as possible. Saying it to you. In the game currently, that states as well actually, because as soon as Engineer is out, the team falls apart. Chief Nebit is also a very important part of it. The other three, you can kind of pick at your own pace. Though I would recommend getting Scavenger out as quickly as possible too, because those detonators, when they first begin stacking, it gets nasty. Anyway, we're gonna go to recalibrate. Omega. All allies still gains the critical chance up I gave them a 5% additional turn meter, 50%, not that big of a deal, but you know, a little extra percentage can make a difference sometime. Then they also gain 2 heal and 2 protection over time buffs. Nice! More healing! No, more healing. Then the mega part is that it dispels all buffs on all enemies. And guess what? Jawa Engineer gains stealth! Another Java that can gain stealth on his own. Hallelujah! So yeah, I'm really making out a lot of the stealth synergy. Like really, I really am. And also, R2D2, boy! You're probably not gonna give so many bonuses, but your stealth is gonna be very appreciated. And fuck it, you can maybe have a Monogod Grievous combo together with Chief Nebit, Engineer, and someone. Maybe B2. If Jawa Engineers there, don't know if you need, you know, B1, but maybe if you want the extra healing. Anyway, I'm just saying that there's a lot more going on than just with the Java team, alright? This applies to everybody, and that's a very good ability. That's the same here, applies to everybody, but it has special synergies together with the droids and together with the Javas, just to, you know, make him better in certain teams, but still have him have this, you know, you can play a little bit around with and put him in different kind of teams, because, you know, some of these things pretty good. Let's talk about crunch time, and this is where the Zeta comes in. That's right, another Zeta, because a good team does not go without Zetas. Also mind that I only put one Zeta on each character, and I'm actually giving them a humongous buff. Anyway, Jawa Engineer has plus 10 speed for each Java or droid ally. Although other allies also gives him speed, but only plus 5. So he still gains speed for being in teams with other things than Javas and droids. More synergy options, right? More synergy options, which is what we like to see. We want a sandbox of just enjoyment, which we don't have currently, and I'm pissed about it. You can probably hear it in my voice. This is a long video, I'm kinda getting tired. I'm saying fuck the cutting, you're gonna get everything. Alright, you're gonna get everything. So if you're not liking this, go somewhere else. Alright? But I appreciate if you looked all the way through, because this is taking a lot of work to put together. It's not just making all of these backgrounds and edits and all that sort of things. It's also about the thought process of balancing these guys out together with actually making them viable. Anyway, enough of that. If all allies are either Java or droid, you can mix them and still get the bonus. He has a 50% or plus 50% max health. Whee! This just makes you wanna stack health on him, alright? And I'm gonna come to that in the end of the video. Whenever Engineer goes under 100% health, he gains stealth for 2 turns. Another way for him to gain stealth and be even more annoying, which means take this guy out, you'll literally have to have all of them stealthed, because then you can finally attack the stealth ones. Or you have to have a buff dispeller on your team. Still make you able to do it, so yeah. Okay, let's get into the juicy part, and this is where the retaliation part comes in. You ready? You ready? The saga begins. When a droid ally is defeated, Engineer resets the cooldown on patch up and takes a bonus turn. No, he's not gonna get 100% turn meter and then wait until everybody's turn. No, he's taking the next turn. He's goddamn taking the next turn, and he's gonna make everything count because he's probably gonna use patch up, which is, you know, reviving the droid that you just killed. You know? Then, if a Java ally is defeated, he resets the cooldown on recalibrate. All allies then also heals 30% of his max health. Very important that it's his max health. And Engineer takes a bonus turn. He takes a bonus turn, all allies heals 30% health. And he gets to use recalibrate. Just like that. Fantastic. The last part is that if they are at full health when this heal happens, only triggered by crunch time, not the other, not patch up, not recalibrate, only triggered by crunch times heal. If they have full health when this heal takes effect, they gain 30% protection up instead. And I'm saying they have to have absolutely full health before they actually gain protection from. Even if they have to heal a tiny speck of health, they don't get protection, alright? That's just how it's gonna be. Deal with it. And it's still gonna be based on Engineer's max health. Now, let's finally get to the last character, which is Jawa Scavenger. And I'm just gonna, you know, go straight into the description, because we can take the state of him as we go. Jawa Scavenger is a support that buffs all his allies. He is a specialist at inflicting detonators on his enemies, and with the use of his scrap bomb, he's capable of detonating all of them, leaving his enemies heavily debuffed. He is also extra lethal against droids and can shock. So, I know it's a little confusing, but the basic is on the bottom right. It's not up there anymore, it's on the bottom, but that's because I have to, you know, balance the spacing of the text, and there's a lot of things that went into his line of sand, so actually not that much, but there's a lot of text, so that's why. So let me go down to his dismantle. Bam! There we go. He currently deals physical damage to the target enemy with a 50% chance to inflict offense down for 2 turns, and if it is a droid, it is doubled the damage. No, actually, the chance of inflicting the offense down is doubled. I read that wrong. There you go. Anyway, the changes. Still physical damage, though instead of offense down, he inflicts daze. Because this is an electrical prod that he is stabbing you with, basically making a little bzzzt on you, right? I don't think you're gonna go, I can't hit so hard. No, you're not only gonna be not hitting so hard, you're gonna be laying there on the ground like, I don't want to get up. Give me a moment. Like, 5 minutes, please. Just, leave me alone for 5 minutes. Like, I'm gonna catch up to you. Yeah. So the days is very appropriate here. Still 2 turns. Not that bad. Then, if the target was a droid, inflict shock for 2 turns instead, and deal double the damage. So, yet again, the daze is this thing that makes it so that you don't get bonus turn meter, you can't counter, and something else I can't quite remember. But the shock is a little bit better. It's only against droids though, which balance the basic. It deals damage also, which is very good on the basic, just because it has to do something else than just a debuff, you know? Something. Just something! But yeah, shock, it makes it so that you don't gain bonus turn meter, you cannot get healed, and I can't remember the last one, but if you saw the I don't remember. I mentioned it once in this video, alright? So yeah, that's basic. Now, to be even more confusing, we are gonna go to the scrap bomb. I know, right? Weird that I'm taking this order, but you know, go down the list, and this is the next thing. The scrap bomb currently deals physical damage to all enemies and immediately detonates all thermal detonators with a 50% chance each to inflict defense down, healing immunity, and tenacity down for 2 turns. And it has to be targets that has a detonator detonates on. Otherwise, the debuffs are not gonna be there. You know, you can actually still deal damage to them currently without detonating the thermal detonators, which is annoying and very frustrating, because it just leaves those 2 characters and then they finish off your team just like, thanks for the buff, thanks for the buck, CG, thanks for the buck. It's annoying. A little voice crack there. Anyway, I changed it so that the Omega now makes it so that the detonators guaranteed are to explode. Doesn't matter if they dodge it, they still explode. Alright, they still explode. But you know, that's only with the Omega. Then the detonators, instead of defense down, inflict stagger and daze. And the daze is also part of the Omega. And they still get the healing immunity and tenacity down. You know? Still get that. Anyway, let's go to the biggest and juiciest part about this character, which is the line in the sand. I didn't really change much. I just made it so that it's a Zeta. And I removed the 80% chance to inflict the thermal detonates. And yet again, this is the final text, so you're not gonna have that full 100% chance on your, you know, inflicting detonators, except if you have the Zeta. Just making sure that you know that. Anyway, at the end of each turn, if a Jawa ally was damaged by an attack that turn, Jawa Scavenger has an 80% chance, not anymore, to inflict 2 thermal detonators for 2 turns on each enemy that used an ability during that turn. This effect occurs for each time a Jawa ally was damaged by an attack that turn. Yes, it is literally written like this. Whenever Jawa Scavenger scores a critical hit, he gains stealth for free turn. He actually has a natural way of getting stealth already, so I didn't need to do anything more. He just had to crit. That's not too bad. Like, that's actually really easy, especially with an AoE. So, the added thing I did though is that when a thermal detonator gets applied on an enemy, Jawa Scavenger gains just 1% turn meter. 1% turn meter doesn't sound like a lot, but also had to keep it balanced so he doesn't like steamroll throughout the turn ranks and then goes immediately to throw his thing. You know, 1% turn meter is good. It might not be the stater that you want the most on this team, but it definitely makes it so that Scavenger a little bit more frequently gets turns, because he is currently the second slowest, I think. Not quite sure. Chief Nebit is definitely the slowest one of them. But yeah, my Scavenger is not that fast, and I can definitely feel that, because I'm constantly waiting to, please give me that scrap bomb, I need it now. Oh well, never mind, I'm dead. And yeah, I have used Java teams and I've tested them and all sort of things, and I'm happy that they at least did some sort of rework on them from some years ago. It did make them better, at least a little bit compatible. But now, no, just if you're serious about this game, don't go Java, alright? Except if they actually do this, you know, rework that I'm doing right here, or another kind of rework, then at least try them, right? At least try them. Anyway, 1% turn meter per detonated applied. Alright. Like that can scale up to be a lot of turn meter very quickly, even with 1% turn meter, so that's why. Anyway, let's finish this off with the salvaged equipment. And this thing, oh boy, I had some fun with this. There's a lot of changes. The first thing you're gonna notice is the big stack of green. Anyway, if Jawa Scavenger is stealthed, that stealth hold there, he has an 80% chance to give 2 random allies defense up for 2 turns, and an 80% chance to give a random ally offense up for 2 turns. That's nice. But not enough. The changes are that if Jawa Scavenger is stealthed, he gives all allies, and here we go down the list. Attackers gains offense up for 2 turns, only attackers. Healers gain speed up for 2 turns, only healers. Supporters gains potency up for 2 turns, only supporters. Tanks gain defense up for 2 turns, only tanks. Then with the Omega, we bring all those together and just there. Jawa Scavenger gains all of these buffs for 2 turns, if you have the Omega. And that is the nice thing about him. He is gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with, because if he has these buffs while he is gonna throw the scrap bomb, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt real bad. The offense is gonna make him more lethal. The speed up is gonna, you know, make him faster to the draw. The potency up makes him easier able to get these debuffs that he has a lot of, by the way. He's the big debuffer on this team. and the defense up is just gonna make him harder to kill. Though they are dispellable, and you can work around them, so it's not busted. And that makes it for all the characters. But I did say for a little short while ago that I was going to go over mod suggestion. And basically, Scavenger, you want him quick. The faster he is, the better, because the more times he can get these debuffs on the field, the better. And you basically just want to go for speed. And I would say, I don't know if you want to use a speed set though. I think it would be better if you make him very defensive as well. You know, tanky, with a lot of protection, a lot of health. Because the longer he is in the fight, the longer he can apply the thermal detonators. And that's really where his power is. But you know, if you want to change it up, there's definitely some things that are better to go for here. You can go for the scrap bomb and go full offense and full potency to have an offense set and potency set on him and just make that thing super lethal. And then of course sweep up some sustainability as well as speed on those mods as well. That's really what I'm recommending. But if you want to go for the line on the sand trick, then health mods, defense mods, tenacity mods, those are gonna be the things you wanna do. Especially the health mods, because the tankier he is, the better. And health mods usually are the way to go if you want someone to be taking a while to take out. Though defense, like having one defense set or one tenacity set in there, is also gonna be really nice, because him not being able to throw his scrap bomb is gonna be really annoying, so tenacity helps there. The defense one, that is if you are full out on the line on the sand and you just want him to, you know, apply the detonators. Let's go to Jawa Engineer. It's no surprise that you want this motherfreaking drifter of a character to be fast. You know, you want him to be fast, because then he can be more annoying. But I would definitely say that if you are not interested in putting a speed set on him, which I would definitely recommend on him, definitely do a speed set on him. But if you want to make him survivable, go for a full on 6 health mods on him to make 3 sets of health mods. You want him to have as much health as possible, as well as making him fast as fuck, boy! So do that, you know, do that. That's what I recommend with this new build I have on him. Then Jawa. What can I say about him? Offense. Offense, 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 potency. That's right. I am not even going to recommend critical damage, critical set on him. I'm gonna recommend potency set with an offense set. Because his stun surprise is gonna be your jam. If you don't inflict those things, you are doing something wrong. The paralysis and short circuit is going to be a main part of this team being a B team. It's gonna be the main part. So Jawa is very important, and of course if you can fit some speed and survivability in there, really great. Though if you do want to go for a critical chance, critical damage kind of place, you can do that. It's just my second recommendation, because potency and offense is the most important thing on him. Critical hits are a little like the next thing, you know. Dathcha. Here we got a boy that wants a lot of critical damage. But you know, he's going to get a lot of critical chance from his allies, so I'm actually gonna make a recommendation on having crit damage and potency set instead of a critical chance. But if you do have difficulties getting those juicy critical hits, then go for critical chance mod on them. Still, mandatory critical damage set to make the most out of him. And then of course, speed, survivability, the usual. His tenacity is not as important as the others, but if you do want to stack the crit stacks as fast as possible, it is really nice to have some sort of potency on him. I'm not gonna go into primary stats and secondary stats, I'm just gonna say the stats that's gonna be good on them. You know, the usual stuff. Then at last, the big boy Chief Nebit. There's not really much to say here. 3 sets of health set, maybe a tenacity or defense set in there, I don't know, that depends on you really. But he wants to be the tankiest boy ever. And it is not protection you want to stack, it is health you want to stack, alright? So health primaries is what you want on this boy, because then he's just gonna grant so much additional protection to his allies and make his team so much harder to kill. And that's really gonna be it. That's all I had. Wow! 1 hour and 46 minutes later, and I'm finally done with the review of these guys. Anyway, the final thoughts, well, the expectation for the current state of Jawas, they are gonna stay and be just a little drizzle of water in your face. They're not really gonna make anything do good. Like, not even with droids, honestly, not even with droids. The most viable thing with them are actually to... Actually, yeah, there's one viable droid team with them, but that involves a lot of other things that you don't really want to take from other teams, so full Java team is recommended currently. And that's also gonna be the recommended for, you know, the team I've built here. That actually should be very viable. It should be viable, reliable, and kick droids' asses. I don't know if they have asses, but if they do, they are gonna be kicked and sapped and super duped. And they're gonna hurt a lot. So yeah. And I'm just gonna be like, if there's anyone out there watching, what do you think should be my next project? Because I am actually looking into doing more of these kind of videos. Yes, they are long, but there's a lot of information that I have to go through. And I want to get all my thought process behind it, you know? It's not for everybody, but, you know, I'm kind of a little geek when it comes to this, especially for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I'm kind of a geek. I'm not the top dog when it comes to do these meta teams and breaking the meta, you know, but I can at least, you know, be creative when it comes to creating kits. And I actually had in mind to go to either Sith, Empire, or First Order next, and especially only looking at 2 characters currently, which is Darth Vader as well as Emperor Palpatine, because they are really whack for being these big names. So I thought they might be my next project, those 2. And then the video might not be that long because it's only 2 characters I have to talk about. But, you know, I'm gonna be looking at them as being some superior leaders. Emperor Palpatine, if I'm gonna do you, I'm gonna do you good. You are currently struggling, my friend. You're struggling. Darth Vader as well. You're a bit more viable, honestly, but still struggling. And I had in mind that if I should do Darth Vader rework, I should do him as a galactic legend. How do you think that sounds, huh? How do you think that sounds? Hopefully good. So, next project might be to make Palpatine very viable and maybe even meta, and then put some swag on Darth Vader again and make him as strong, if not stronger, than Kylo, Supreme Leader. I don't think I'm gonna go into the Rey territory. But you know, actually, you know what? Yeah, he should go into the Rey territory because he is that iconic of a, you know, villain. There we got the word. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. And again, let me know down in the comments if you really like these changes, if there's something that you want different, like is it too much, is it too little, which I personally don't think. I think it's pretty much. And just give me ideas for what next projects could be. Even like if you have game suggestions out there for something I can check out, you know? Now, wait a minute. Okay, so I actually went through all of the text and kits again, and I made a few changes and small tweaks here and there just to both better my final thoughts and everything, and give you guys a better understanding what's actually in my mind when I thought of these kits. So anyway, I'm just gonna leave these uh, small clips and cuts of the final kits here, and I'm gonna see you guys in the future. Bye!